The prince had gone missing, and no one knew if he were dead or alive. For the sake of the country and the safety of its people, King Aurelius II had decreed to expand the Imperial Knights Order and set up fortresses within the outskirts of Moniyan to reinforce the Empire's defense. In the meantime, the Imperial Knights continued their search for any clues or whereabouts of the prince. The Imperial Knights searched day after night. They had almost crossed the entire land of Dawn, but all they could find was endless waiting. The Aurelius royal family was drowning in sorrow. To young Silvana, the tragic memory of that time was too heavy. As a princess, Silvana had always had a heart of justice and compassion since she was little. After her brother's disappearance, she had been keeping the queen's company almost every day. For years, the two of them had been waiting for a miracle to happen in the imperial castle. However, waiting day after day and year after year later, the queen eventually became ill and bedridden from physical and mental exhaustion. 12 years had passed after the tragic event. As the queen and the king got old, Princess Silvana, who had grown into a fine adult, had always wanted to do something for her empire. She wanted to let go of the sorrow. But whenever she thought of her brother, the sadness and frustration always came back to her. Every night in her dream, Silvana felt like her brother was within reach, but she just couldn't seem to hold him. Shortly afterward, on the day of Silvana's coming-of-age ceremony, she decided to disregard her status as a princess and join the Imperial Knights. Perhaps this was the only way for her to bear the pain. In the Knights' Order, Silvana would have to go through tough training. She would no longer be treated like a royal. Silvana possessed strong faith and worked harder than the others. Her faith had made her more and more powerful. All the scars on her body were the best proof on her path to training. Before long, she had become the most powerful female knight among the Imperial Knights, but even then, Silvana still couldn't get Tigreal's special approval. Tigreal knew the cruelty of the real battlefield, and how there was no room for any mistake. Deep down, Tigreal saw that Silvana had already acquired all the skills of a knight. He could also see Silvana's determination. But she was a royal of the Empire after all. Tigreal didn't want another successor of the Empire to be at any risk again. But one day, all of a sudden, the demon army had arrived on the outskirts of the Empire. Moniyan was in the face of disaster and war. Tigreal ordered Silvana to stay in the Empire while he leads the whole Knights' Order to battle. Halfway through, Tigreal received a report from the Knights' Order that in order to prove herself, Silvana had broken the forbidden area, the Imperial Sanctuary, where countless unknown creatures lurk. Even Tigreal himself didn't have the confidence to go through it unharmed. At this moment, a sharp cry came from a distance, making Tigreal shudder. He immediately leads the elites of the Knights' Order back to the Imperial Sanctuary, while the rest of the Knights march to the outskirts of the Empire to fight the demons. On his way, he prayed that he could make it in time. He prayed that his fear should not come true. In front of the gods of the Imperial Sanctuary, a giant figure was slowly approaching the wounded knightess. The seed of light was glowing in the distance, and her powerful opponent was approaching. In the Imperial records, Silvana once read about a legend about the seed of light in the Imperial Sanctuary, but the powerful creature that guards the seed of light in front of her has become an obstacle she couldn't overcome. But Sylvana knew that. Only when she was shielded by the Lord of Light could she truly become the Holy Knightess and lead the Empire to victory in the battle. And for that reason, she was willing to sacrifice her life. But that wasn't necessary. Sylvana's determination impressed the God of Light, and he passed down some of his magical powers to Sylvana. With this power in hand, she broke past the guard and brought the chaotic army to an end. With the battle won and peace returned, Sylvana's courage brought her great fame. With power, courage, and royalty in her blood, she took over as the princess of the Moniyan Empire and perhaps also as its protector.